So in this video, I'm going to compare two passport options. Cape Verde, it's a double benefit of that citizenship. I'm going to discuss that if you are eligible to get the Cape Verde, then how does that compare with the latest West African CBI? The latest one is São Tomé, and I made a separate video on the price analysis, my own analysis on that program. If you have missed that one, surely go and check this one. It will be a prerequisite to this video. But let's fast forward and deep dive into São Tomé. And what do you get with this? With São Tomé, there's a slight, you don't get the ECOWAS, which is the reason why I feel this program should be half or less than half the price of what they are thinking. If it had the ECOWAS, then I would absolutely say the price makes sense. But without ECOWAS, without that biometric ECOWAS ID, without that foundational element of a West African citizenship, I really would not consider this citizenship at all at this price. Now, people will collect it and we would support it. So that's a separate story. But if it was me, if it was my opinion, then obviously I need to give you my honest opinion. And none of this is immigration, legal, tax advice. This is just my pure assessment, analysis, and thoughts on this. You should always consult the right professional and make your decision. Before we get to the comparison with, let's say, something like a Cape Verde, let's first understand what is this got. If it doesn't have the ECOWAS, does it have any access? Well, it does not have any meaningful access to which a lot of people, at least I wouldn't go to most of the countries that it has access to. So access, absolutely not. It's not strength. It is one of the weakest passports in the world. You would hardly end up visiting, most of my viewers are hardly going to visit any of those countries listed or allowed as visa free by that passport. So if access is not the thing, if ECOWAS is also not the thing, what else is left? Now, yes, there's the technicality of a CPLP feature that is on this passport. But let's take an example. Where does the CPLP work? In Brazil, in Portugal? Well, once the Portuguese immigration is going to detect that this is a CBI passport, it's a CBI purchased citizenship, it's not your real citizenship. The European and the Western brigade, they obviously look at CBI programs in a different view, right? I don't know if they look at it as a real or a full citizenship. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We don't know. But they come up with a lot of travel bans, a lot of restrictions, a lot of revocations. So could a CBI, an immediately purchased passport, and anyone can go and purchase it, it's publicly listed for sale, is Portugal or Brazil smart enough to go and allow them the CPLP benefit or any fast track naturalizations? Now, it's only a time of this program being entered, the intelligence being entered into their system. It hardly takes a couple of days. The day the thing goes live, obviously it's reflected everywhere. So whether this is even going to be allowed for a CPLP, you got to be smart enough. So you got to obviously go and check with their immigration. And then the theory is one thing. In practice, a CBI program always needs to be carefully thought about when you're applying for any miscellaneous loopholes, or when you're trying to target some miscellaneous loopholes in different countries. They're smarter, right? They're smarter than what you think they are. They're way too smart. So is the CPLP going to work? In my honest opinion, I don't know. I don't think so. But again, this is not legal advice. That immigration would need to confirm that. But in my personal opinion, a CBI won't fly as high. If it was a citizenship by exception and the countries not selling a passport, that intelligence does not exist on their database, it's a completely different situation, a scenario. But with a CBI tag, that's something that you should think or keep in your mind. Now let's talk about Cape Verde. Okay, now let's say by descent or through whatever other means you qualify for a program like Cape Verde and you get this, or if you have access to this type of citizenship, if you're able to get this kind of citizenship, when you compare, let's say, a Cape Verde passport to a São Tomé passport, how do they compare? Now, Cape Verde does not sell their passport, so that's obviously a real citizenship. The second thing is the Cape Verde passport is a ECOWAS passport. So yes, you qualify for an ECOWAS ID. You can travel across the ECOWAS region freely, live there a lifetime by striking the right kind of residency if you're interested in that. So it has travel mobility, it has freedom of movement across those all important 13 West African nations. So ECOWAS That's a good start. CPLP, because it's a natural country, it is a former Portuguese speaking colony. So, yes, the answer is yes. You have potential advantages in Brazil and Portugal. Again, as I said, with anything, got to be confirmed with their immigration. But because they don't sell their passport, because Cape Verde does not sell their passport, they have a far cleaner, a much better, a great reputation with immigration around the world. So your chances are drastically increased. Now, if I had an opportunity, let's say through whichever means, let's call it descent or through any other natural means, if I had access to a Cape Verde passport, and if I was comparing this with something like a São Tomé CBI citizenship, I would obviously any day choose something like a Cape Verde because it has the CPLP and the ECOWAS, the natural element, the non-CBI element. So that would obviously be more interesting or more appealing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you rather consider something like a Cape Verde, or would you consider a CBI program like São Tomé, or let's say Sierra Leone? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because this is where I'll be reporting on all the changing elements of every single CBI, including the launch and support for the new CBI, which is the São Tomé CBI. So I would be keeping track of this program. I will be reporting on the developments, and I'll be helping a lot of you get some of the latest and the newest CBIs and CBE options. I am super excited. One of the countermeasures of viewers or applicants is to get a CBE instead of a CBI. So if the authorities are cracking down heavy on CBI, then the countermeasure is don't get a CBI, get a CBE. So you're not trying to fool them, you're just trying to be smart. And this is a cat and a mouse game, right? So you got to be on top of things, and together I think we will be on top of things. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.